Hello again, wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of Fantasy Warfare Tournament. This is part 4 of our greatest theme songs edition. In this case, we're doing the Wildcard. So we have 8 theme songs from TNA Impact, because we really couldn't come up with 16 of them. And then there were some leftovers from the other 3 divisions, WCW, WWF, and WCW, that are going to be included in this bracket. As always, we are joined in Toronto from Steven. Steven, how you doing? I know it's crazy times with health units and all this other stuff, but how are you?
I'm good. I wish my life would get back to a semi-normal. It's very busy. I am watching the Blue Jays, though, in the playoffs, so it puts me on a little bit of calm, but it's been very busy. That's why they won't see me for a couple weeks after this one.
Okay, well, I think Chris Maloney is going to be returning to take your seat as you try and find sanity and all that, if even happens with what's going on. Those tuning in today or for this episode, Wednesday at 6:15-ish on YouTube, they will know we're recording ahead of time. This is Tuesday, game 1 of the playoffs that you're referencing, because even Jonsey in Niagara Falls is watching it too. How are you, Jonsey?
I'm doing good. Of course, we have a little bit of a time zone difference here, about 15 minutes from you guys. And, oh my God, the Blue Jays got a grand slam. All right. Woo! Okay. Anyways, I'm doing pretty good here.
Awesome. This is part 4. I'm going to show the video of what we're going to be reviewing today, and then we are going to break down the brackets with Steven. So let's get that going.
Time to get it on. Come together for the rising. All for one for all. Like the sun, we will be shining. Standing tall, never fall. Stare into the eyes of danger. Lay to waste all the fears. Let them hear us say it louder. My blood, my sweat, your tears.
Okay, so Steven, can you break down our bracket?
We've got to start with the Beautiful People versus Johnny B. Bad. Aces and Eights versus Ravishing Rick Rude, which I believe is the WWF.
Yep.
Sami Zayn versus Jeff Jarrett, which is his TNA theme. Beer Money versus the Nasty Boys, and that's their WCW theme. Brutus the Barber Beefcake versus Mickie James, which is TNA theme. Motor City Machine Guns versus Bobby Roode, which is his NXT / main roster WWE. Hulk Hogan American Made, which is his WCW. You have then versus LAX. And the final matchup is Abyss versus the Honky Tonk Man, which is his WWF theme song.
Yeah, from the Prowl Driver album. People who are joining us on this can look in the comments or the description of what we're talking about tonight, and there's going to be a link to a YouTube playlist with all these songs except for the Honky Tonk Man, because I don't know what happened. I'll have to look for another version to put in that list, but somehow it got deleted. So it was a WWE thing, maybe copyright. They finally discovered it and pulled it from YouTube. But I will find another version of the Honky Tonk Man's song from the Pile Driver album, and you can follow along with what we listened to prior to coming on the air. Some of us just moments before coming on finished listening to it as a refresher again, because trying to get the feel of the songs. But that's what we're going to do tonight. Anything that you guys see coming out of this before we dive into match number one?
I forgot how bad the 80s and early 90s themes are. There's some shit.
Yes, but I want to go back in the new year and just do 80s or theme songs just to have some fun. Come on, we missed out on Jive So Bro.
Yeah, I'll be drunk while we do it because maybe that will make the songs better. I loved them as a kid, but now I'm like, wow, they were horrible.
Jonsey, your thoughts before we dive into match number one?
That is just like when you watch, the A Team now. It's like, I know it's enjoyable as a child, but now you're like, oh my God, this is so bad.
Yeah, and you don't realize that everybody on the team gets hit with a bullet, but they couldn't shoot any bad guys. And
nope, and the helicopter could crash with the people in it, and they would get out, and their ties would still be straight.
Yeah, gotta love 80s TV. So we're jumping in with the beautiful people representing Impact Wrestling and TNA, taking on Johnny B. Bad. So we got the beautiful people. As I said, they're from TNA. They debuted in 2007. They were around basically 2007 to 2011. Had a brief run again in 2012, and then again in 2014 to 16. I believe right now Velvet Sky and Angelina Love are hanging out over in Ring of Honor. But the beautiful people have had a couple of incarnations with them. As I said, Velvet and Angelina. But then they added Madison Rain. There was Lacey Von Erich, Mandy Leon. I don't recall seeing her part of it, but
No,
I don't watch much TNA.
No, she's part of the new their ROH thing that they're doing.
Okay. That would explain why I'm not familiar with her, because she's in the ROH side of things. Their song is definitely catchy for a little bit, but then it just gets repetitive, and probably the best thing of their whole entrance is obviously Velvet getting into the ring and bending over, and the camera just zooming in on her, and you wonder why Bully Ray hooked up with her. Shocking. But they're taking on WCW's Johnny B. Bad, or as most people know, Mark Marrow. And I don't know, it's a weird sort of combination that song is, because it sounds like it's going to be like a 50s sort of doo-wop, rock and roll type song. But then when the guy starts singing, it almost sounds a little country-ish. But, it says, here comes Johnny B. Bad. You don't want to make him mad. He's pretty as a picture. He looks just like Little Richard. And that was one of the things that Dusty Rhodes created, was Johnny B. Bad. And unfortunately, it's what Vince McMahon fell in love with when bringing him over to WWE and doing the Wild Man Mark Marrow. He actually thought he was getting Johnny B. Bad. And, unfortunately, Mark Marrow's career and injuries didn't help too much. But the song does also talk about his Golden Gloves sort of career, because of his knockout punch. And we later on saw Mark Marrow doing the boxer type gimmick. Listening to these two songs, I was a fan somewhat of Johnny B. Bad's, even though it was crazy doing the frisbee tosses just like Lanny Poffo did. And then the Bad Blasters, confetti all over the place. He had his robes like Randy Savage. He was like diving into the, as Conrad and Bruce liked to say, the box of gimmicks, and he pulled everything out and just went, let's go to the ring with it. But I did enjoy the song, and especially compared to the Beautiful People. I got to pick Johnny B. Bad over Beautiful People. Steven.
See, and I love Johnny B. Bad because I remember watching him. He would always open
every pay-per-view.
Yeah, because he could go. But the more I've listened to the song, the more I think it's horrible. And the Beautiful People, I actually like that song. So my vote's actually for the Beautiful People. Jonsey?
This is one of those ones where I could flip a coin on. I like the Beautiful People song on its own. I don't think of wrestling. I just think of an awesome song. Johnny B. Bad's one, it's fun. He's fun when he goes out there. If I had to pick between the two songs, I would go with Beautiful People.
Yeah, that's kind of the point of this. You have to pick.
Well, then it has to be Johnny B. Bad because we're talking wrestling, not sitting there and enjoying a song. So I'd have to say Johnny B. Bad. With his entrance in that song, it fit. And it kind of had a Dukes of Hazzard feel to it.
Yeah, that's what I mean, because it sounded like it was going to be a rock and roll song like Little Richard and Chuck Berry, and next thing you know, it sounds country. Kind of weird. So Johnny B. Bad is moving on to the second round, which brings us to match number 2, and that has Aces and Eights taking on Ravishing Rick Rude. Steven.
So Aces and Eights, and I was tasked to find a lot of the shitty TNA music. So they're one of the few that actually can make it through because they didn't have a lot of good stuff. It's very generic. It fit the group, I guess, but the group was horrible. And the music wasn't great. And then Ravishing Rick Rude, I remember as a kid hearing that music from the start, and you just hated him. And it's Rick Rude all the way.
Jonesy?
I like the Aces and Eights song, and I think it went well with their entrance. It's got a hard country feel to it, and actually, I thought the finger plucking in the song was pretty good for a song. I don't know if it was created for wrestling or it was, indie band or exactly what the backstory on that is, but it's not a bad song. Rick Rude song. The only problem with it now is I hear it, I see it, and Rick Rude's there, and he's got the towel, and then Mae Young's boobs fall out, and it's like, So, but I have to go with Rick Rude.
So that's 2 for Rick Rude. He's moving on, and I'm going to go and have it a clean sweep. I did enjoy the Aces and Eights song. It's one that can play in the background and be good background white noise, I guess. It definitely mentions about the fact of the Aces and Eights and the cards, and it's a dead man's hand if you're familiar with the Old West, and it did give almost that feeling of a biker gang. I'm trying to think of the TV show at the moment. I'm drawing a blank that was about bikers and all that. But then you get Ravishing Rick Rude, and I'm a sax player, and of course, at the same time, you're thinking, here comes Chippendales, but you got Bobby Heenan, who he didn't really like managing him. But we got on the microphone and said, like, for all you sweat hogs to feast your eyes on a real man, it made Rick Rude, and it was awesome. So it's a clean sweep for Rick, and we move on to match number 3. Sami Zayn, Canada's own, taking on Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Jonesy?
I'm sorry. I'm quickly writing a little thought on the one. Okay, Sami Zayn and Worlds Apart. Yeah, that song. I've heard it, but I don't. I'm not super familiar with it, but it just sounds too happy. It like for a wrestling character that can wrestle the way he does, he he looks, fairly tough, but a soft side to him. But I don't know. It has a huge America's Funniest Videos feel to it. It just sounds like it's generic from that, but it is a good song. I think, but I don't know if it fits. It almost like God Bailey could take it and it would fit her. Um, the TNA Jeff Jarrett one, that's a song I like after the beginning is done. Uh, the beginning noise is really freaking annoying, but the song itself I think is pretty good. The noise does get your attention when it comes out, so maybe that's it's fitting because I was never a fan of Jeff Jarrett. Uh, da, 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 I didn't feel it actually fit Jarrett. Like I I think his entrance is fine, except the music didn't fit him. So I'd have to go with Sami Zayn on it.
Okay, so vote for Sami Zayn, and that gives it to me. I did not enjoy the Jeff Jarrett song, so I'm giving away my vote right now. It's going to be for Sami Zayn. It just the annoying siren and it almost warned you that yes, it's time for the bathroom break. Jeff Jarrett is coming out. Sami Zayn has a good ska sort of rhythm to it. He danced out to it. I had it in my car as something I could just play in the jukebox that allowed for memory songs to be downloaded. And it's another one of those songs, almost like Shinsuke Nakamura's, where the fans were, especially when he was face, were singing along to it. I don't know if it goes along with this heel persona that he has, but it definitely fit him with his fan favorite side of things. It's funny that you said it was kind of generic, Jonsey, considering he was El Generico in the Indies. But yeah, I like that song. I thought it fit well, especially with his face persona. Not so much right at the moment. Once again, Steven, is it a clean sweep or does Jarrett get your vote?
Jarrett actually gets my vote. I actually prefer Jarrett's music. I thought it just fits the character a lot more, especially in TNA. Sami Zayn, the music doesn't fit who he is, the character. So Jarrett would get my vote.
Okay, so that moves on to match number 4. We are doing Beer Money Inc. versus the Nasty Boys, WCW song. They're both really good songs, I think. I really actually did enjoy them listening to them. I was kind of a fan of the Nasty Boys from when I saw them in the AWA, WCW, and WWE, and back to WCW, and this their song when they returned. It's the record scratching mix. You hear the Nasty Boys both singing or attempting to sing in it, who they are, and the Nasty Boys. And then there's Beer Money. It's definitely doing the countryside of the team with James Storm. And they were together from 2008 to 2011, excuse me, and again in 2016 before Bobby Roode ended up leaving for NXT. But it tells who they are. Watch your money, watch your beer. It actually fit the team really well, I thought. And surprisingly enough, I'm going to vote for a TNA song to go into the second round. Not sure if it's going to make it, but I'm voting for Beer Money. Steven.
This might be the only TNA song that moves on, but mine is for Beer Money. I think it fit a lot better. The Nasty Boys, God love them. I thought this song was horrible, especially because they sang it. They should have had someone else or auto-tune it or something because it was bad. Jonsey, I already know where your vote's going.
Well, it normally would go to the Nasty Boys, and if I hadn't actually reheard this song, I would have thought it was great. I guess I just wasn't really listening to the song itself. It was just bad. It was you know what, WCW, you had the right idea, but you didn't deliver that song. The same idea by someone else could have been great. But the money that they couldn't have had a decent music director. Anyways, no, actually, I'd vote for Pure Money in this.
Wow, a clean sweep.
Yeah, it kind of surprised me on that one too. So that brings us to match number 5 with Brutus the Barber Beefcake, or if you are listening to any of Conrad Thompson stuff, Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake, because he beat Kurt Hennig at Mania 6, taking on Mickie James from TNA Music. Steven?
Brutus, I don't know. That song, I get it. I loved it as a kid. I'd pop every time I hear it. But re-listening to it, the more I listened to it, the more I was like, was I drinking as a child to like that song? Because I now, the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. And then you have Mickie James, Hardcore Country. She wrote it, she sang it, she performed it. It fit the character. It fit the country girl that she was portraying in TNA. My vote's going for Mickie James.
Jonsey.
Mickie James. That's just bad country right there. I mean, if she wasn't the one singing it, it would have been better because they shouldn't have had her singing on that. And if so, she should have been duetting with someone else, so you wouldn't have noticed that she's off key the whole time. The Beefcake one, the shittier the sound system is in the arena, the better that one was. It was just, it had this cool beat to it. And I think it fit the feeling of what he was wearing. It just, for me, it just went together. I like that theme. If I was stuck on an island and that's the only song I could listen to, I wouldn't listen to it. But for me, it's Beefcake on that one. Even though the song, it's only good on Bad System, man.
Yeah, I was a fan of Beefcake as a kid. I looked forward to him taking that Intercontinental title away from the Honky Tonk Man, and then he got that parasailing accident. And I think there was another stop and start moment as well that avoided him getting the title. But the song does
when
well.
When he got arrested for taking out Hogan's knee.
Yeah, that's later on. But anyways, the music allows him to do his strutting and cutting and everything that he was doing in WWE. He definitely got fans' support. But Mickie James, that's her actual life now, is doing country music when she's not wrestling. And so she's making a living out of it somewhat, I guess, and going on tours. It definitely gave her a different edge and character instead of just being the stalker of Trish Stratus and from WWE. Of course, James Storm pushed her off a railway thing, and she should have been dead hit by a train, but she's alive. Mickie James, I enjoyed her song more than Beefcake, so Mickie is going to move on. So it's actually now 2 songs from Impact TNA that are advancing,
which surprised me. I did not expect that one to be.
Yeah. Next up is Motor City Machine Guns. Oh, this was the wrong one. Motor City Machine Guns against Bobby Roode. And that goes to Jonsey.
Oh, all right. The TNA Motor City Machine Gun, I hadn't really heard the song until then, so I found it wasn't a polished song, too much noise. The break is good when the noise stops, and it's just like a guitar, but that's about it. Bobby Roode's one, especially that clip, I mean, what beats that entrance? That's just great. Like a Ric Flair entrance. I think the Glorious one definitely I go with. I don't know if it will win, but I think it's one of the strong contenders for just a good entrance and a song that is good on its own, but then when you actually do it with a live choir, it just makes it better. So I think it's got those two punches in it. I'm voting for that one.
Yeah, myself, I'm going to shut off Motor City Machine Guns music as soon as it comes on. It's almost like as annoying as Jeff Jarrett. To be honest, I did not enjoy it at all. I was waiting for that track to be done so I could just move on. Bobby Roode, and as people saw just the other night on Monday Night Raw, he's back. He's gotten back across the border and is back on TV, and he came out to this glorious music. Yeah, and the version I found for the playlist, I believe, was from Takeover, and they had a Takeover in Toronto, should I say, and they had a choir there leading it, and then when he came out, just everything that comes with that. It's a modern day Ric Flair feel to it. Modern day, not. I saw that look there, Steven.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch.
I know. But I'm going to go with Bobby Roode advancing to the next round.
Well, let's not say it's a modern day Ric Flair, because it's not. Because I love the song and they're getting my vote. He's getting my vote. But it's not a modern day Ric Flair because he's a jobber, unfortunately. But he's going to get my vote, so he moves on 3-0.
He's only a jobber right now because he's on Raw. He was really good when he was in NXT. So hopefully he gets drafted over to SmackDown again, or something happens now that he's back, and maybe he gets a push like Sami Zayn is compared to what people thought he was going to get buried.
Well, yes, but I'm not holding my breath.
It's got guys like Bobby Roode that the IC belt makes them better. Why isn't a guy like him having a long run with that belt? Because as a world champion, maybe in the smaller territories, but in the WWE, harder stretch. You got to earn it. That IC belt, have a good, strong run with that.
Yeah, IC or US or go back to NXT would be, well, I thought for a moment he was going to be that mystery guy that's showing up on NXT, but he showed up last night.
I think I know who's going to show up on NXT, but
it's probably Bo. But that's taking away from what we're doing, and we'll save that for Scumbags podcast, especially tomorrow with the preview. But we're going on to Hulk Hogan, WCW, American Made, taking on LAX. Now, this theme of Hogan, we've had a couple themes from Hogan in the 4 weeks that we've been doing this. And this was what he used when he came to WCW. I had the ticker tape parade in Disney or in Orlando coming to do his signing of the contract. At the time, he was living there, filming Thunder in Paradise. Actually, a decent show, like on the lines of a Baywatch, but he was there. That's why they were able to get him, limited dates. And with Jimmy Hart in tow, Jimmy made his best effort of doing a real American song, but WCW style. And that's where we get this whole American-made theme. It fit well for Hogan. Of course, fans really didn't get behind him, and we saw him become the third man for the NWO and do that music and jump over to Jimi Hendrix when the NWO music was getting too thinned out. But for 2 years, Hogan used this American-made song. He's taking on LAX. The version we found was the original one with Homicide. Let's see, Homicide, Hernandez, and Conan part of it. It's basically gangster Latino music, talking about the streets in Miami and Florida and all that. I think they even reference Rey Mysterio in the song as well, if you continue listening to it. But it's like really hood gangster type rap going on, sirens. It fit that team really well. Giving my vote, though, to Hogan. As a non-Hogan fan, I'm going to lean his way just because it was a fresh start for him for WCW when he basically worn out his welcome in WWE and left quickly after gaining the title after WrestleMania 9 and dropping it to Zuna at King of the Ring in a lame match. So Hogan's getting my vote for his fresh start. Steven?
I absolutely hated the Hulk Hogan theme. Hated it. I think I just don't like it. It could have. I actually thought the first time I heard it when you sent the list out, it was for what was the shitty WCW Bagwell and the Patriot?
American Males?
That's what I thought it was for.
Well, actually, American Males was Scotty Riggs and Bagwell.
Was it Stars and Stripes?
Stars and Stripes, I believe, yeah.
I actually thought this was for. I think that just didn't. The Hogan theme. I love the LAX. The gunshots to start off with catches your attention right away. I love it. My vote's LAX.
And Jonsey.
Unfortunately, I'm the tiebreaker on this one. And that Hogan song it's like one of my all-time favorites because it just drips with cheese. But it's actually for WCW, for the some of the stuff they did in the songs, I thought that one for wrestling, because you got to remember where it comes from. It's come from the world of wrestling. And I think it matches up to Hogan's song in WWF. I really do. It for a song that is a complete, not, I don't want to say rip off, but it's like, okay, we need a song and it needs to be just like this one, except completely different, but the same, so we don't get sued. And they delivered. It's a great song for him to come out to after being in the WWF and to find a song like that to create it, and it fit him. You could play that over top of the Hogan song in WWF and dub in the WCW version, and it would fit just as good. For me, that song is just better than the Impact one. It actually, the Impact one sounds like something from like a show like The Shield or whatever. It's good, but I just, the Hogan song, again, it's like a sequel to a movie done by a completely different production group. And you're like, oh man, it's going to be shitty. And then you see it and you're like, actually, you know what? That's not bad for a sequel. That's how I'm looking at it.
Okay, so Hogan is moving on with a 2-1 victory. And our final matchup in this first round has Abyss from TNA taking on the Honky Tonk Man and Steven.
So let's start with the Honky Tonk Man. Another 80s crapola. I remember as a kid, you hear that the music come on, and you just right away you're like, "Oh, I don't like him. Honky Tonk Man sucks," because he's usually fighting one of our favorites, Ultimate Warrior, Brutus, Bret Hart, something like that. Now, the more I've listened to it, the more I'm like, "Oh, why did I ever get sucked into this?" And then you got Abyss, and I like Abyss. I thought the music fit the character, that creepy. I'm going Abyss.
Yeah, I'm going completely honky tonk on this one. That honky tonk song was perfect for that time. It just fit in so good. It's an annoying song, but it just fit. It's an entrance. And that's an entrance song. It's not necessarily a good song, but it fits the wrestling world, especially at that time. Just for me, the best song, it's got a superhero feel to it, but it's just not as good as the Honky Tonk song. How, again, I love theme songs, and the cheesier sometimes the better, and this one fit. So yeah, Honky Man.
Okay, so I'm the tiebreaker on this one. I'm going to go towards the fact that I love the Pile Driver album. Honky, I even had the video that they put out, Coliseum Home Video, put all the videos together, including Girls in Cars, Demolition, Pile Driver, Stand Back. They were all on there. Honky, I think, was the lead in this one. As I mentioned, also there was Jive Slow Bro, and they picked up almost where they drove through the construction site with her Pile Driver video. Just it fit the Honky Tonk Man. Nobody liked him. It was an annoying song. Something he can do to be his Elvis impersonator and just get a ton of heat on him. And then when he had either Sherry Martel doing Peggy Sue singing in the background, it's just fit how bad he was. And you just wanted to hate on him. Abyss never really got behind Chris Park, Joseph Park, whatever he wants to be called today on SmackDown. He just seemed way too much of a rip-off love child of Mankind and Kane, just with his backstory line, the way he looked and stuff like that. This song fits in that category of the Undertaker, Boogeyman, Bray Wyatt, and all those type of characters, Kane and Mankind. I'm okay with it, but it didn't really light my world on fire. As a kid, loved the Honky Tonk Man deal. So Honky is moving on in a 2-1 vote, and that brings.
Can I ask about the Girls in Cars song? There, does that song light your fire?
Robbie Dupree, it doesn't even show up if you Google that song. I don't know. I like Girls in Cars because it was Strike Force.
It is there. You can find it on YouTube. I found that song before on YouTube. I play it for Anessa once in a while.
You can't find it on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
I looked on Spotify. Anyway, so that concludes round number 1. Steven, would you like to break down our first round?
Yes. So match 1, Try to Be Bad beat the Beautiful People 2-1. Ravishing Rick Rude beat Aces and Eights 3-0. Sami Zayn beat Jeff Jarrett TNA 2-1. Beer Money beat the Nasty Boys 3-0, which I thought I'll consider that an upset. This also is a huge upset. Bruce the Barber Beefcake lost to Mickie James TNA 2-1. Robert Roode beat Motor City Machine Guns 3-0. Hulk Hogan, American Made, beat LAX 2-1. Honky Tonk Man beat Abyss 2-1. So, second round.
I hit the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Second round has Johnny B. Bad taking on Ravishing Rick Rude. Sami Zayn versus Beer Money. Mickie James, TNA versus Robert Roode. Hulk Hogan, American Made versus the Honky Tonk Man.
So we got some cheese in the second round.
Anything surprising match round one? I think the Mickie James beating Brutus is an upset in my.
Yeah, between that and also maybe Beer Money taking out the Nasty Boys. Definitely a little bit of surprise that some combinations like that made it out of the first round. Jonsey?
Nothing really surprised me, and I didn't know what the very last song was because it wasn't on the YouTube list when I wrote it up, and so Honky Tonk Man. I don't think it will go much further, but we'll see.
Okay, so that takes us to our first match in round number 2. I'm just setting this up. And that is Johnny B. Bad taking on Ravishing Rick Rude. And Jonsey, you get this one.
For me, it's both songs are fairly equal. So I mean, the Rick Rude one they've used before for Mae Young. It's a kind of tough one because the Rick Rude one, I think it's good. It's really good in an arena. It just sounds like it's one of the better ones. It didn't have any talking in it. He did that on the microphone, of course, but it's just got that stripper feel. It's I got to vote for it over the Johnny B. Bad one, even though I think Johnny B. Bad's antics were maybe a little more entertaining because Rick Rude. The boring thing about his entrance was he never really changed it up, but I think it's still better than Johnny B. Bad, so I'm going with Rick Rude.
Okay. Looks like Steven might be the one breaking this tie because, as I said, I kind of like the Johnny B. Bad song just because of how it fit his entrance with the Frisbees and the Bad Blasters and the capes and everything. And, of course, how he had the lipstick or the lips that stuck on people, the kiss that don't miss. Just everything fit with him. And, of course, Ravishing Rick Rude, as you just said, Jonsey, seemed like a stripper doing his thing. Of course, he took off the robe and swiveled the hips and brought in the women, including Cheryl Roberts. But I'm going with Johnny B. Bad. Steven?
Can I say both of these? I'm not a fan of really either of these, but since I have to vote, I'm going Rick Rude.
Okay. So Ravishing Rick Rude is moving on. And that takes us to Sami Zayn against Beer Money Inc. Two good songs, in my opinion, but only one has actually made it into my car. And that is Sami Zayn, the ska sort of feel to it. It's a fun song. I enjoyed it more than Beer Money Inc. So I'm going to vote for that one to advance. Steven?
Beer Money. I think it fits the characters 100 times better than a basic could have been for anyone. And it doesn't fit the character. So Beer Money for me. Jonesy gets to break this tie.
Yeah, and it sucks because I don't care for either one of these songs. I mean, Zayn one, is fun, but making me decide on this. Which one's the better entrance, though? See, the problem is I haven't really seen the Sami Zayn entrance. I've seen the Beer Money one enough. Kind of, yeah. I gotta go with Beer Money. The tag team, and I mean, like the entrance. I remember watching it when it was on TNN there for a while. I think they were on it, so I gotta go with that one.
Okay. Our next matchup sees Mickie James against Bobby Roode.
This is easy. Bobby Roode. I love the Mickie James Hardcore Country theme, but it's facing Glorious, so it's Bobby Roode. And I expect this to be probably a clean sweep.
Jonsey?
He's right so far. That was my vote.
It will be a sweep. Love Mickie James, but the song isn't doing it for me. And that brings us to then Hulk Hogan taking on the Honky Tonk Man. Jonsey.
Yeah, I mean the Hogan one. I do like the Honky Tonk Man one, especially at WrestleMania 6. It just looked good, but I don't know. It's hard to say it's too cheesy because the Hogan song's cheesy too. But that Hogan song, again, like I said, it's very good for an imitation of what the WWF song was. So Hogan for me.
Yeah, I think Honky is just too classic, considering Hogan was basically, as you pointed out earlier, Chris, it was a sort of rip-off mockery of Real American, trying to freshen up that whole thing, and instead
but
of
it was
being
good.
original. It wasn't as original as just being there. Honky Tonk Man, I think, fit him. It just more of a classic song than American Made. American Made only lasted 2 years. Honky lasted a lot longer. Steven is the tiebreaker.
Do I have to vote for either of these?
Apparently so.
Hey! Remember, I voted in the Beer Money one that I didn't give a crap about. So
Hey, I've had to vote.
You get to make a decision.
Less about. I'm going Hogan just because it's Hulk Hogan. Even though I think both songs are horrible, but it's Hogan, and it fit. Unfortunately, it's just a ripoff, but it fits.
Okay.
So let me go back to that exciting round. Rick Rude beat Johnny Bad 2-1. Sami Zayn lost to Beer Money 2-1. Robert Roode beat Mickie James 3-0, and Hulk Hogan American Made beat Honky Tonk Man 2-1. Semifinals are Rick Rude versus Beer Money and Robert Roode versus Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
At least for me, there was no surprises in round 2. I don't know about you guys, but there was nothing that surprised me.
No, not really. It seemed to play out pretty easily. Not much of a surprise. Jones?
Nope, not much of a surprise on that one.
Okay, so that brings us to our first semifinal. I'm just setting up the next one. And that is Ravishing Rick Rude against Beer Money Inc. And that is right there. So we then look at these two together. as much as I'm a sax player and love that song, it could have been for anybody, really. Jones, I think you pointed out that Mae Young even used it at maybe the Royal Rumble or something like that. Beer Money Inc. tells the story of them. Yeah, for me, it's going to be Beer Money. And somebody played something
Me, I got bored. I'm going Bobby Roode or Rick Rude.
Rickard. Okay, and Jonsey with the tiebreaker.
The Rick Rude.
Wow. So with a 2-1 victory, Rick Rude is advancing and will take on the winner of glorious Bobby Roode and Hulk Hogan. And that goes to Steven.
Hulk Hogan. It's Hulk Hogan.
You know what? I love that Hogan song. I really do. It's kind of like watching Jason X. The fact that it's the 10th sequel, it's a bad movie, but for a 10th sequel, it's pretty damn good. And that's how I view Hogan's song. But that Bobby Roode song, that it's just one that can be performed on its own just by pressing play. But then for bigger events, you can bring out a choir. And yeah, so has he done that? I'm voting for Bobby Roode. Has he done WrestleMania yet with that song? Has he had a WrestleMania entrance?
I think they wanted to, but it hasn't happened yet. And I see, surprisingly, that this is going to be one very rude finals, as Ravishing Rick Rude is going to take on Bobby Roode in the finals, because I'm voting for Bobby Roode.
So in our semifinals, we had Rick Rude beat Beer Money 2-1, and Robert Roode beat Hulk Hogan 2-1. So that leaves us Ravishing Rick Rude versus Bobby Roode. Be an interesting and rude finale.
Did not see this coming.
I did have Rick Rude winning the top bracket, but my bottom bracket was done to start with. So,
who'd you have coming out of the bottom bracket?
You guys are going to think I'm crazy. I actually had LAX.
Wow.
I thought that song fit LAX to a T, and I love it. So I had LAX actually coming out of the bottom.
I was hoping there's going to be a little more cheese, and I thought maybe Honky would have made it through a little bit further, but he didn't.
Who did you have?
I had Honky against Sami Zayn-ish.
See,
Jones?
I didn't pick anyone, like make any predictions this time beforehand. But like I said in the first round, that Bobby Roode won. It's a hard one to beat on this list.
Well, you get to start, Jonsey. So,
you know, if I'm going with combinations, then it's got to be Bobby Roode. The Rick Rude one, it's classic, but there's only so many ways you can do that same entrance before it's the exact same. He didn't change it. That's where that one, as good as it is, it never went to the next step, and he never really had a big WrestleMania where he could do that at, as far as today's day and age with the lights and you know, my God, can you imagine either being all beautiful women down the entranceway, or it's all guys and towels? I don't know, but I think the Bobby Roode one is just it's fun to listen to. Hell, you could play it at Christmas time if you wanted to with the lights. That one for me, that it gets my vote.
Okay, so it's been a big week for him because our winner is the glorious Bobby Roode.
Glorious.
I'm picking him over Rick Rude's entrance. I put that in the wrong one. Yeah, just it works well.
The revolutionary force in sport entertainment.
But he didn't win.
That's still my vote.
Yeah. But the actual winner is Bobby Roode.
I only play the finale. I only play my song because I'm the last vote. I always get it teed up when Jonsey starts, just in case that's how I'm going to announce the winner. But since I couldn't, I still want to play a song because I like it.
Yeah, understandable. It's a wonderful song. But yeah, no, he finally got clearance to go across the border and unexpectedly gets this finals. So please join us on Thursday night, tomorrow night, if you're watching this tomorrow, on Scumbags Wrestling Podcast, 8 o'clock on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. And we're going to do our regular segments such as the news, show results, including Clash of Champions, preview Sunday's NXT TakeOver 31, and we will wrap up with the finals of the Fantasy Warfare Tournament.
We're going to start with Fantasy Warfare.
Greatest theme songs, and we'll have the winners of the 4 weeks battled out. Representing WCW is going to be the Four Horsemen. Representing the WWF time is the Undertaker. Representing WWE, I'm drawing a blank. Who won last week?
Undertaker.
Then who won the WWF one?
I don't know.
We'll look back on things. I apologize for us drawing a blank. It's been a long week for all of us. Jonsey, I think it's looking up right now. The Final Four will also have, obviously, Bobby Roode.
And research has told us that it's Triple H the Game that won last week.
Triple H the Game. So, yeah, that was the WWE side from WrestleMania 17 to today.
See, kids, writing things down on paper actually can be quicker than trying to look in a computer or whatever. See, I have this like big shoebox that I keep all my wrestling papers in.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. It's definitely appreciated on this one because didn't want to totally leave people in the lurch. But tomorrow night on Scumbags Wrestling, Thursday night, 8 p.m., we will pick the Final Four and get the actual winner between Triple H, Undertaker, the Four Horsemen, and now Bobby Roode. So we will see you then. And next week, I believe we're going to do something involving turns, whether it's all heel turns or all face turns or a combination of all of it. You'll see very shortly, and we'll probably announce it officially tomorrow what the full show will be. Steven, I know you have a lot going on with the COVID and health policies going on throughout Ontario and Canada, for that matter, that you're dealing with. So if you had hair on the top of your head, you'd probably be pulling it out. But we'll see you in a week or two when we get back to a couple other shows, and hopefully things have settled down for you.
Yeah, it'll be probably a week or two. So then they'll hear my hate on again.
Exactly. But we will see you in Scumbags Wrestling Podcast tomorrow for the finale. Jonsey, anything you want to add before we check out of here?
No, nothing I can really think of. The Wrestling Triple game show right now is on hiatus until I get a computer. Until then, and just, hanging out.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll see everybody again tomorrow on Scumbags Wrestling. Have a good one, guys. Hey, wrestling fans, it's Shawn from Scumbags Wrestling. September is Carry Malformation Awareness Month, and we've teamed up with Steven's Wrestling Journey to present this great t-shirt. Proceeds from it are going to help Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto as they do research for Carry Malformation. You can get the shirt for $30 or a poster for $15. However, I'm going to do something better. For the month of September, if you get your t-shirt during this month, I'll reduce it by $5, so you get the shirt for $25 or the poster for $10. Contact me through the Scumbags Wrestling Facebook page or email me at scumbagswrestling@gmail.com. Get an amazing t-shirt and help a great cause at the same time.